down for my miss, yeah? So I keep trying to apply myself. But I was got barbering.
Right.
So I decided that I was going to I wanted to open a barber shop. This was in the year 2014. I registered my barber shop. And I tried getting government funding to start. Right? The person was helping me in the ministry, legal affairs. They put me through a lot of things. I still going to get a lot of documents and information. And as soon as they saw that I served time at the youth training center, that changed everything. They told me in 2014 that because of my stay at the youth training center and my release date, which was in 2010, I would not have been eligible. This was the words they used, right? I would not have been eligible to receive any funding from the government until 7 years after my release. So I had like 3 more years to go to complete that 7. And encountering all these walls and obstacles, honestly, I got myself into a bit of trouble again. Yeah, because, again, since my father died, I doing it on my own for me. Yeah, send myself to school, help send my sister to school. You know, help pay the bills from the young, at 10 age, 13 years old, going forward, yeah, coming forward. So I got myself into trouble again, and I lost any chance.
When you say you got yourself into trouble again?
A guy broke into my friend's house and stole some stuff. And we hold him and we gave him a little beating. And the police came. They arrested us. Yeah. So we moved him from point A to point B. So they kind of tried to over-exaggerate the thing. And they didn't want to understand that we just hold a thief. We gave him a little cocktail, yeah. So they tried to jack him up for that.
And you having a previous conviction?
Yeah, made it a bit harder, you know. And that I lost all opportunities after the arrest. So I went back to scratch.
Did you do time for it though?
No.
Okay.
Actually, the police officers, though, after doing the investigation, they realized that what we were saying was true. And they helped us, and in court they dropped the matter. So.
But if you apply for a police certificate of good character now, it would be dirty.
Yes, it would.
Right.
But that is from since YTC. And I don't understand why.
How many years?
They told us that as a minor, you're not supposed to have a criminal record.
Correct. You're supposed to clean it.
It's supposed to be sealed and expunged.
Yes, we still have. It's still there.
It's still there.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Points to note.
Yes.
And that is a good point to note so that we could raise this issue. Because I've heard it that once, especially at YTRC, that because you're youth, your record's supposed to be expunged or sealed, sort of, so that when you come out you could get a clean police certificate of good character. So you're saying that is not the case?
That is not the case.
Okay.
That is not the case.
Right. Thank you. If you're just joining us, you're listening to Dependency, and we are speaking with Oba Roberts, who spent 5 years in prison. We have in studio as well Sid Friday, who did 4 years, and Nicholas Khan, who did 15 years. They are telling us about the challenges that they faced leaving prison and in challenges in reintegrating. And Mr. Roberts is breaking it down nicely for us. Thank you very much for being so open and candid.
You're welcome.
So how are you doing now then? What is your position now? Having gone through all of that and come out on the other side.
I'm a strong guy, yeah. Physically and in character, mentally as well. Presently, operate and run my own car park in Arima on Fafan Street. Barber about to open my own barber shop again. I try, yeah. So with the help of Nicholas Khan and others, yeah. I have a small little business. I don't go into much details of it, but yeah. I work also with the unemployment relief program. And I try to give back to the community as best as I could. I have a lot of youth I'm responsible for. Yeah, guiding, who looks up to me. Yeah. Supposed to, I don't know if I should speak about it. Hopefully, I get into no trouble, but currently I'm working on a project with the Deputy Mayor of Arima. A culture restoration initiative, restoring the lost culture to the borough of Arima and environs.
Okay.
So I wouldn't talk much about it.
All right. And what about your family dynamics now and your mom? You all still have a good relationship? What's
actually
happening?
now during YTC, it was real close. Because we had that's the only person I get, mostly the only person I get to see. And at the time, I was a / gospel artist kind of thing. My mother is a Christian, so that was a real thing for her. And going back to church, after she visited me, again I talked to she pastor and she friends about me. When I came out, that changed. Yeah, that changed. Yeah, because I was no longer, I was no longer, how to say, believing in the Christian thing no more. Turned to Islam. Yeah.
Okay.
That caused a tear in the relationship I and my mother had. But now, she must be the loss of my sister. She experiencing what she experienced and my experience, me believing in my deen Islam say, you keep your mother and them close, you keep your mother close to you, yeah. So I try it again. Mommy, I love you. Go and check. She talk the reason with she. No more arguments. So now we good.
Nice.
Say, I love you. I love you too. Actually start that I love you too start last year.
Right.
So there's a push for that. I'm 35 now, so not hearing your mother say I love you too. Until they reach out door, I was like, but to me it's an accomplishment because I really had a bad attitude though. Like I was blaming, I used to play the blame game. I had a lot of blame for my father as well too. A lot of hate for him. Now I forgive him, I cool. And releasing yourself from them burdens has helped you to help clear up your mind and your thoughts, yeah? Your spirit, so.
That's nice. Thank you so much, Robbie. I could call you Robbie?
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, cool.
Oba Roberts is in studio with us. You just hear him there. He spent 5 years in prison. Sydney Friday is going to tell his story after this break. And Nicholas Khan, who spent 15 years in prison, he decided too that he was not going to enter that revolving door syndrome and did something with his life, as a matter of fact, helping others too while he's doing it. It's amazing. These gentlemen, and we thank you all very much for your time. We go to a break, and when we return, we're going to hear from Sydney Friday, who will tell his part of the challenges of him reintegrating. And those of you who experiencing problems on Facebook, as usual, please, you can visit our YouTube channel.
Yeah, we did have a drop-off on both platforms a while ago, but we're back up, so you can always visit YouTube. That connection seems to be more stable, but
yes.
And please don't forget to like the live when you
Please
come
remember to like and subscribe to the channel.
$3.99. Like
Please,
the
okay?
live.
Thanks a lot. We go to a break. We will be back. Stay right there.
Slavery, a terrible time in our history. The kidnapping, buying and selling of people for profit, the exploitation of another human being. It still exists today. It has a new name: human trafficking. Anyone can be a victim. There is forced labor, sexual exploitation, and domestic servitude. Human trafficking is a worldwide problem and an emerging concern for us here in Trinidad and Tobago. If you know of or suspect human trafficking activity, call the Counter-Trafficking Hotline at 800-4CTU or 800-4288. Human trafficking is a crime. Identify it, report it, stop it. A message from the Counter-Trafficking Unit of the Ministry of National Security.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, sir. Right, so we're going to do a icebreaker. Here, I want everybody to do. I want everybody to clap once. Together. Give me 2 clap. Right.
This is our Creative Expressions program. It's a program that we cater for participants between these ages of 7 to 17. So we have participants from all over. We have from the Beaton, we have from Picton, we have from Chinapoo, we have from Second Caledonia. They come from all over, right? Because this is a safe space for them to come. And we have partnered because the IATF, they have always worked with us. Yeah, so they're part of it also. As you can see in the background, they're doing etiquette training because we think that the children need to know about etiquette. Because if they have their graduation or they go to a wedding or whatever they know that they go to, at least they will have an idea as to how to conduct themselves. And the theme of the program for this July-August is National Pride. So our children must have pride in their nation because this is where we live, this is where we are growing up, and this is where we will continue to live. The beautiful Twin Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. So basically that is what our camp is about.
So good day, I'm Constable McPherson from the Intl Task Force Hearts and Minds. And today I'm here in collaboration with the Office of Law Enforcement Policy, Camp National Pride, to conduct or show the young ones about dining etiquette within the community. It was a nice experience teaching young ones because this is where we go in. These are the pillars of our future, and dining etiquette or etiquette on the whole is a avenue or tool to make them better individuals for tomorrow society. Thank you.
On Saturday, November 30th from 10 a.m. Join us at Cedra Secondary School in Bonas Village for a special health and wellness outreach event to mark the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. Organized by the National Task Force on Trafficking in Persons Prevention Team with support from the Counter-Trafficking Unit, Ministry of National Security. This event offers free health services like blood pressure and glucose testing, HIV screening and counseling, plus experience a powerful screening of the feature film Trafficked, shining a light on the reality of human trafficking and the urgent need to stand against it. Be there at Cedra Secondary School on Saturday, November 30th from 10 a.m. Let's unite and invest to prevent violence against women and girls.
Do you want to support our work at Eye on Dependency? Here are 3 ways to do so. You can make a donation to the Eye on Dependency account at Republic Bank. You can follow the Eye on Dependency page on Facebook. You can subscribe to the Eye on Dependency channel on YouTube. Liking, commenting, and sharing the live on a Sunday also helps. Thanks in advance for your support.
Thank you for staying with us. This is Eye on Dependency. Thank you to those tuned in on I-95 as well as you all who have joined us on YouTube and Facebook. Don't forget to like the live when you come in. Even if you're in and you haven't liked it yet, just tap the like button for us, please.
Yeah, so Sid, you heard Oba. Tell us about, you spent 4 years in prison, correct?
Yeah. I spent 4 years in YTC too. Was possession of a firearm. Mm-hmm. I did get shot like twice on apprehending me.
From police?
Yeah, about 17.
What was that?
You were 17.
I was 17.
Oh, you were 17. Oh, I thought you said 17 times. No.
Right.
What?
I mean, to me, the biggest thing with fitting back into society to do anything officially is that court extract. You see, everything calls for a COC, everything calls for a certificate of character.
Right.
And some places don't just let the slack cut with the slip. I mean, some places you might get you. You know what I mean? But if you want to do something official, like open my NGO or something, you know? Then you have to go for a court extract. Now, when you sit down 4 years in the jail, you can't remember all your exact court dates and all them kind of thing, you know what I mean? And that's supposed to be extracted like as over we get locked up in these juveniles. So we're not supposed to have to go for a court extract. You know what I mean? And it'll just be hard in the sense of to do anything officially. You know you're limited. You know what I mean? And even say if you do get a break, you catch a crack, you're still limited in the sense of people eyes on you. The pit there with the paint on jailers, as they like to call you. You know what I mean? As they say, once you're staying to some people, you're always staying.
So was prison the catalyst for you changing your mind about the life?
Prison was a place for me to take my time. Whereas the same opportunities, let me just say, was always there. I just was moving at a pace. I didn't have time to see it, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So within being in YTC, now YTC, I don't know how the bigger prison will be. But in YTC, you just get a chance to be a youth man again. You just get a chance to play water fight and thing, you know.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can't let the donkey see you wetting up the dormitory, but you know, you shift your beds and you play water fight. It's a youth man who never could read, and you learn with them and all you grow together. So it's more a brotherhood for me. It's a man who you know from since back then, who you see them now and it's like, yay, look my brother. You know what I mean? So YTC, more or less this group here. And again, it boils down to the individual, because the officers do what that. They really rather you stay. How you come in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it have officers will blatantly, we go see you again. And they will walk down the corridor glad to tell you when they hear somebody dead or somebody. I see that's one across in the big jail. It's that kind of jubilant way, like they're happy, you know what I mean?
Right.
So you have to deal with that. You have to deal with people who happy with you as a jailer failing. Aside from failing.
So you actually had officers who never adopted the corrections rule, but they remained turnkey, so to speak.
Yeah, because they're doing turnkey work.
Right.
But in terms of mentally, I mean, if we're talking about fixing it, we had to fix it straight across the board. You know? We can't want to fix a prisoner reintegrated into society when we have a society that ain't learn how to accept. You have prison officers who supposed to be, you know, pushing you in a certain direction. I mean, you ain't expect a prison officer to sit down and talk church with you every day. But certain support, you know what I mean? I remember getting locked up in the cell blocks and all we classes shut down because of rumors that tongue men and south men have a little beef. And to avoid that, just lock off all classes, all everything, sexy. We had a class we used to do with, I feel I used to come from Neil and Mass, lock off that, everything. So you'd have officers will jump at that. Hey, tongue south what? Nah, Mr. Stewart. And then it have officers like, again, Mr. Stewart, who, you know, putting the foot forward and really pushing the button. But the head go biting, is the body to swallow. And if it's poison and the body swallow poison, then it's dead snake. You know what I mean? The head ain't go spit it out, it's the body.
But Mr. Stewart's name keeps coming up, and not now, but for quite a while now, everybody, especially when they speak about YTRC, Mr. Stewart's name keeps coming up. Yeah.
Nah, he's a G. Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
If it was for Mr. Stewart, a lot of young men who passed through ITC for my time, for what I don't know, until he left, probably from being the commissioner of prison, he wouldn't get no opportunity to do anything. I say that probably all the prison officers who know me listen to the station, Oba Roberts saying, if it was for Mr. Stewart,
he would not have been given any chance to do anything good with his life.
I mean, you got some passes. Just don't sit. Forget to ask that about. You got some passes.
It's like school even, but I had plenty certificates. Masonry, carpentry, beauty therapy, barbering, Microsoft specialist, etc., etc., and so forth.
Okay.
I'm certified and all.
That's actually the same thing I said at the conference on Friday.
Yeah.
That people would go to prison with nothing. But somehow in prison they get qualified, which means that if there's a program to stop the pipeline, you take them from school as they finish. You have no qualification or skill. What are you going to do when you come out from school?
But then there's also the aspect of institutionalization or prisonization, as it's sometimes called, because Oba was talking about the missing YTRC. You are in prison, you are deprived of your freedom. Everything is free, but you're deprived of your freedom.
Noel,
how does that impact how you move about in the world when you do?
I would think for somebody that more reflects on society though. Because society ain't giving it that sense of freedom. As much as you're free out here.
You're really not free.
Yeah. So it's like it have things in YTC for real was made much, much easier. Not just because it was in, but because in that society, in that YTC society, they take the time and they put things in place. Who wasn't doing what they're supposed to do, Mr. Stewart pull up on them and made sure it's done. YTC reached Best Village, the Calypso competitions, the sports, rugby, beyond Queen's Park Savannah playing against QRC and you know what I mean?
I play rugby for Trinidad at national level.
It are boxers who fly
Barbados. I went Barbados and played rugby for Trinidad.
But no, they wouldn't talk about it because they don't want jailers to seem good. So they wouldn't say, well, all right.
Was deserving of this kind of attention, this kind of structure, discipline, order. This is what these young men need in their life, and this is what the prison is providing.
Because in people's mind, prison's supposed to be all about sledgehammer and concrete.
Yes.
That's it.
If it's about sledgehammer and concrete, right? You're not educating nobody when they have a sledgehammer and they're beating concrete. You're not preparing nobody. When I come out 4 years after I get locked up when I was 17, I get sentenced when I was 18, tell the magistrate, sentence me because I was 18. I know which part they're looking to send me. So I asked for my sentence. I get my sentence. When I come out 3 years after, things totally change in 4 years. You know? Peer pressure, everything totally changed. Slang, everything changed. Clothes you wear is changed. Phone, when I was 1100 with the little torchlight at the top and the little string. Right, that was the end thing. When I come out is touch screen and I. So now remember you're still a man, you know. So it has certain things I'm not going and ask. You know what I mean? Like with me, my aunt would come and pick me up. My father couldn't make it. And funny enough, the next person who they come was Sharon Batiste, who was in YTC with me. He just get released some days before. You know what I mean? And he come up as in, again, a brotherhood will form. Support. So
Sharon Batiste, that name sound familiar.
So when I reached down home, it's me. YTC. You give somebody after 4 years, come in a juvenile, 30,000 to leave with no form of fashion to structure it. Now it have men who leave with more.
$30,000
dollars.
From where?
So alright. In YTC, they just send it to work and thing, right? They send it Diana, they send it Fine Choice, Arawak. It had some shoe company, other little places, you know. It had some youths was going to school right in town here, they dropping you off and they picking you up in the evening, so you're literally free.
Right.
It's you now, so it's you to make the best of it. If you play with that, the consequences, you have to take it. The consequences not necessarily licks. It's just no more, which to me might hurt you more. So like reflect that on out here. When you leave, right, and it have nothing in place, You still need guidance, you know? You still need governance, you know? Not because I leave when I was 21 and means I was a big man. I come in when I was 17.
Yeah, but
separated.
I just saying, I'm sorry to cut you, but I think to myself, most youths, even those who get the trouble, I know they get the trouble, they tend to project it like this feel privilege, yeah? Like there's somebody supposed to reach out to them and they're supposed to fix their life for them and they're supposed to, as he say, govern them. Find everybody have it hard. Everybody make mistakes and some people should stick up and some people should just stay in that
twilight.
Yeah, this thing where they want people pity them and you know that kind of way. I don't understand that at all. And some of them are the lazy. I said that last time I was here. I know youths who lazy.
Nothing.
No matter what you do or you try to tell them to do or you try to help them with, they're not accepting it. They find you should just give them.
But I wanna.
Where they get that from?
I don't have a clue.
The institutionalized.
Forget the institutionalized.
I
even those who
that.
out here.
Oh.
Even those who out here, like, you know, like, come on, man. I came out and I started off with nothing. I still don't own practically anything, but how I see it is space and opportunity. Let me see it like you know, like life is a whole chain. Life is no chains.
Well, opportunity and support. You can't do anything by yourself. You have to have people who believe in you,
yes,
and who want to help you succeed. But I wanted to just quickly go back to something Sydney said about not asking for help because you're still a man. And as we're talking about International Men's Day, what does it mean? How does this impression of manhood impact on a young man, a teenager coming into adulthood, being in prison? How does that whole concept of manhood affect you when you come outside?
So like, when your boy child fall down off the bike, you tell him don't cry, get up and go on the bike, right?
Mm-hmm.
Going in prison is falling off the bike. So when I come out, me crying, I ain't going, mommy. You know what I mean? I ain't going to ask for support.
Because you were groomed to suck it up.
I was groomed to suck it up.
And that is wrong.
So we might watch
simple
falling off a bike as you just falling off a bike.
Yeah,
no, it's more than just falling off a bike.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Correct.
And on the flip side, pampering too much is what is caused what Oba was talking about. The expect to help. You know what I mean?
I think in plenty cases.
But you don't, if you're a child, don't you expect adults around you to help you?
You're not child when you turn a man. You can't be no child when you turn a man.
No, I mean, in your childhood, growing up, you're hearing all these things when you fall off your bike, don't cry, da-da-da. But you still, as a child, expect the adults in your life to help
come and rub
you.
the bruise?
Sorry to
Of
say.
course.
Well, until it's embedded in you that you're not supposed to cry when you get up. I mean, you go expect it until they tell you, don't cry 10 times. The 11th time you ain't going to expect it. And if from 0 to teen you've been told don't cry,
Don't cry.
get up and look fit. Get up and get fit.
Then how are you as an adult supposed to engage with other people in society if you have this attitude of I'm not asking nobody for no help, and if I make a mistake is all on me. I am nobody to ask for, nobody to depend on.
I don't think it's just
How?
that. People just surface the thing. It's deeper than that. I'm not asking you for help because the requirements too tough for me. Reach here at 7 o'clock. You know getting up 6:30. That cool for you. Boy, I mean on that, huh? Cut your hair. Like the style. Pull your pants up. Me like how that look. The requirements be too tough for most of them. Whereas our next person was fit, they'll say, okay, cool, no problem.
So then, okay, let me ask this. Now, what you're explaining there, that is grooming you're talking about from home, right? Pull your pants up, comb your hair, cut your hair properly.
Not necessarily. You're a human being,
right, but
eyes and ears. So you're seeing as you grow. This is how society conform. This, So if you had to do
society grooming you then.
Come on, you. I wouldn't come here with a short pants and a slipper. I comfortable with that home. If I take for instance, you go to court. If you had to go to court,
you have to dress appropriately.
Automatically.
You ain't asking nobody how to dress.
You know what is required of you.
But how when you go
you're going to look for a job and you want to come in
thing so you're shitting clean, your jersey thing,
But do you think that our mother or father has something to do with that, to preparing you for outside?
I blame mommy and daddy for everything, life hard and everybody.
Right, but if they didn't do it, then how you expect the young man to have it? This is what I'm saying.
Listen.
You have to learn by trial and error that way.
Humans are social
Yeah,
animals.
because if my mother didn't show me to brush my teeth, how to comb my hair,
Correct.
how to sweep, how to cook, I can't really do that. I have to learn by trial and error. Right.
So how long it going and take you to learn?
Right, but some youth men probably didn't get that.
You don't want to learn.
There's great excuses. How long it going to take you to know that it don't take you long to know how to dress to go to court? That is a guarantee.
I like you. I like you. You're being real with that. Because
come on, I ain't got no time for that play thing. People, they be playing with the thing. And we can't help. We can't. The system, society. What about you?
What ambition you have?
What about you? Where you want to see you in 5 years?
All right, let me come back to Sid. If you're just joining us, you're listening to Dependency, and we are speaking with Oba Roberts. He did 5 years in prison. Sydney Friday, 4 years. Nicholas Khan, 15 years. We're trying to get all of them in this hour because we have some officials from the OPM who, listening to them on the outside, will come in here soon and respond to them and speak about the ministry's focus dealing with men. Remember, we are observing International Men's Day. There's a march going on in Port of Spain right now, and we will try to hook up with them live to find out how that's going. Sid, complete this in before we go to a break and come back to Nicholas. So you decided to reintegrate. What are you doing now, and how was it? How challenging was it for you? Because I want you to speak to about getting a police certificate, a good character. What would that be like for you now?
Well, I know now. You had to go for a court extract. So back to what Oba was saying, you had to want to, I mean, between 2012 and now, is ups and downs and left and right. But my mission, let you just say, music and writing is still the main focus. You might have go left and cut around a corner and go so. But to reintegrate, you just have to keep your focus. You just can't lose focus. You were sitting down for how much years? And you had your eye on freedom. You didn't think within them 4 years that you didn't want to be free. Right. So you do everything to make sure that on that freedom date you come out, you're free.
You decided before you left that you weren't going back to the life?
Yeah. I sit down in Queens, all that thing was for Best Village. Yeah, and Oba was right there, some in the crowd, and I watched one of my brethren and I say, yo, not only in YTC, right? Because I see Miss Hazel Manning in the back of me and 2-3 other ministers, I can't recall the name.
Right.
1 or 2 people and they dress nice, we sitting down in black and white and everybody, we watching an opera. And I saying, I from Library, brother. You know what I mean? I do feel plenty youth men who grew up in my little village could say they went Queens all to sit down and watch an opera, and if the only time I could do that is in YTC, then something wrong, you know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, something wrong. So that kind of game, in the sense you discover yourself. I discovered that I could dabble in the little acting thing. I could write, I never know that. I could do my little music thing. So you have an aim. You have an aim on which part you want to go. Who aiming for business will get you with business if that way what. It will be trials because you have that jailer stigma looming over your head.
Did you experience that anywhere you went? People you tried to integrate with or work you tried to obtain?
Honestly, I did expect the refusal at work, so I always try to cut around.
Not put yourself in that position.
To always know somebody to get you to bypass that the question of would never raise. And if it do raise, I'll always make sure and tell them, yeah, but that was since quite 2012, eh? So I just try to the length of time I stay in the jail to the length of time I was out is significantly, you know what I mean? So I do feel it should hold that against me.
But if you apply for a police certificate of good character, now what would it
Court
be?
extract.
You need to get that.
You
court
need to
extract.
get that.
And
you
you
will
have
get his slip. You will get his slip and they go sign it on.
right. But if you get your certificate, it will say that you were convicted. Right. That's what I'm talking
It go
about.
higher charges. If I walk outside now and the police ask me, what's your name? Sydney Friday. And you know they go back in the van and all my charges from since God knows when will pop up, mark up pending.
Pending?
Pending. So that means the 4 years I did, I never did.
Wow.
Until I get that court extract to prove that, all right, he served this time, there's no more.
So that pending means that you didn't serve time yet. You're still about to or waiting to serve time.
But
That's what pending means.
Officers
they
mark
don't
up
have-
and tell me, but how come all these things mark up pending? So no, that was since 2008. That was the
Wow.
last time I get charged on.
Because the police would know what the court has determined, meaning that he has been served the sentence. And
You know,
he spent
Mr.
the time
Ramesh
in-
Lawrence Maharaj had a press conference with Mikey St. John, speaking about the very same thing. And even though you get a clean police with good character, there is a system that you can go into, and it seems that the person never got their records cleaned, and they were never. And so, pending means that you ain't do no time yet. You still a criminal.
Yep.
Thank you for this information. We're recording this because we want the ministry to hear this. That if somebody wants to turn their life around, they cannot have these things hanging over their heads.
Absolutely.
You know?
On top of all of the stigma from society.
Yeah.
And the closed doors and
I went to take
lost opportunities.
bail for Bridging time. And I give my name, my ID card, everything confident.
Uh-huh.
And when the woman come back upstairs, well, she'll be signed up next to the prosecutor. The magistrate say, well, he got to take the bail. The look on the woman's face, she watched me, is like, well, they get ready to snatch him before he tried to run out the door. And watch by the magistrate and say, well, no. And she himself say nothing. She just carry up the paper to the magistrate. So the magistrate say, well, I seen these things here. Where is what's going on with this? And I said, well, no, ma'am. I get sentenced in 2008. For that, I come out in 2012. I think that was like 2017 or somewhere around there. And she quarreled with the police. She say, all the diverse part, people, all these tired people, all they supposed to organize the court extract. If somebody send down 4 years, the charging officer who charge you, you could go to the JP or however the court system does run. I don't know. You know what I mean? And say, well, all right, the fella who are locked up on a charge, he now gets sentenced to XYZ, XYZ. So, you could mark up that, all right, he served his time for that.
Right.
You know what I mean? But after them charge you, you get sentenced. That is it.
You're on your own.
There should be some communication between the judiciary and the prison service. Why can't they just send all of the relevant documents along with you to the prison when you're sentenced?
No, mine,
so that this you have it.
I just saying, excuse.
And this is the
I really
system
like
we're
to
talking
cut
about.
people, right? I apologize. Yeah?
No.
But
The system.
the police officers have a big part to play in how things go too as well.
Yes, they do.
I'll tell you a quick story before I cut. About a month and a half ago, a young guy one of the fellas was be around me. Police searched him and they found, I think was 28 or 30 grams of marijuana. When the weight had come up to about 30 grams of marijuana.
Which is legal.
Which, well, I wouldn't say legal, because it did criminalize, but yeah.
Yeah, but which is legal for someone to have in their possession.
Yes.
In their possession.
In their possession.
Yeah, when the weight, 32 grams of marijuana he had. When the weight in front of us, Just that. The next day he had to appear before he married shit. Oba saying this again. For all who listen. The 32 grams turned into 65 grams.
Wow.
Oh my.
Oba Roberts and Marima said that.
And then
Wow.
they're going to hit you a fine on top. Then they're going to hit you a fine on top of that. a $10,000, $15,000 fine.
Where you get the money to pay that?
Exactly where they wanted to get money to pay that.
Go and rob people and do all.
We all know where they wanted to get money to pay that because.
And listen, he face a master, not a magistrate. And the lawyer charged $2,000.
Next part of the
32 grams of marijuana.
Remind-
That turned into 65 the next day. And the lawyer charged $2,000 to
Did that
represent him
need
before
to be a
master.
charge?
And
That
65
didn't need to be a charge because
60
they could have said, okay, you're over by 2 grams. How is that really like how is this individual a threat to society?
But don't miss the dishonesty in it.
All right.
Well, of course, because
We know established times hard. Times hard.
He had no money to pay his own lawyer fee.
With that $500 you going and get on your salary, brother. We repeat. Times hard. 32 come. Because that 32, which go and multiply to 65, going and end up 500 in my pocket, which going and help my son pay his school fee. So we don't just watch it as the wicked, but times hard. So it trickling down to now we go reach on the ground level. When they reach on the ground level, partner had a look to pay $2,000 for 65 grams that he never had.
Yes.
And 65 grams don't cost $2,000.
And mind you, brother, the police officers didn't expect that somebody would have paid a lawyer to represent him the next day in court. They was expecting for him to go in the prison for 32 grams of marijuana.
So all now he would have been locked up.
He didn't have his own money.
Trinidad and Tobago, you all hearing this? Gideon Dixon, you're hearing this, right? I hope you're listening this morning.
I mean, you go have the people who go argue.
Listen to me, and listen to me carefully. When we say that there are people who are in prison not supposed to be there, people feel we supporting banditry and crime. There are innocent people in our remand and convicted prison right now as we speak.
Correct.
Trinidad and Tobago, are you all proud of that? Would you all jump up and clap and say, hip hip hooray, lock them up? Here's what this man just said, and he didn't hide it. He gave his name and he told where he lived.
Yeah.
The man get locked up for 32 grams of marijuana, which turned to 65 the next day.
Yeah.
The caller who is called is your friend, you know, I'm talking about, you know.
I was waiting for
Yes.
that, 'cause I know who you're talking
I want to know if he supports that.
I was waiting for you to tell me that.
Yes, it's him. And you know, it's people like him who push back. Government feels a little pushback when they decide they want to change the prison system and upgrade it. It's people like him will come out and publicly state, no, where you want a hotel for them? What you want them to do? Eat caviar? And people like him. And people will follow him. The next phone call will be the same thing, and the phone call after him will be the same thing. Every time this man speaks, it breaks my heart to know that his own people he supports. And hear what you just say.
Yeah.
So a youth man would have ended up in prison if he didn't get somebody to take his bail. And the lawyers, some of them who are part of the problem too. Big part. But that is another discussion for another day. If you're just joining us, you're listening to Dependency, and we are speaking with Oba Roberts, Sydney Friday, and Nicholas Khan. 5, 4, and 15 years experience in prison. We're going to speak with Nicholas Khan after this break quickly, and then we have the officials from the Office of the Prime Minister in studio here. I hope they are listening to us well. Let's take a break. We'll be back.
Ah boy. Feel I'm gonna buy myself a senorita tonight.
Nah. You know you might be promoting slavery.
Slavery? What you talking about?
Hey, modern day slavery or human trafficking is just what some of these people just do. You know some of these women were tricked to come here? Some are held against their will, abused, and even beaten. Most times the girls don't even see any of the money that is paid for them. And every night, they just have to come out looking nice and sexy for somebody like you. Human trafficking is a serious problem and a serious crime. Persons who solicit commercial sex services may be contributing to human trafficking. A message from the Counter-Trafficking Unit of the Ministry of National Security.
Lisa Lynch, the principal of Nelson Street Girls RSC School. We have the officers of the IATF, and they're here today with us to assist in our daddy-daughter dance. Now, this is something that we have been having for the past 8 years. However, we know due to circumstances in Trinidad, sometimes not all the fathers could be here. So I remember the first year it was rather emotional for the girls and for the teachers because some daddies did not come. Mommy and daddy, they are at loggerheads with each other. Some fathers are incarcerated. Some fathers simply are not playing a part in their children's life. So this year and for the past few years, we've had officers coming in and they're dancing with the girls. Even today, we had a rather emotional incident where some of our girls are crying uncontrollably because their fathers are not here. But some of my fine officers are able to come, they're able to take the girls, able to dance with them in the dance. And I must say that I am truly appreciative to the members of the IATF.
On Saturday, November 30th from 10 a.m. Join us at Cedra Secondary School in Bonas Village for a special health and wellness outreach event to mark the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. Organized by the National Task Force on Trafficking in Persons Prevention Team with support from the Counter-Trafficking Unit, Ministry of National Security. This event offers free health services like blood pressure and glucose testing, HIV screening and counseling, plus experience a powerful screening of the feature film Trafficked, shining a light on the reality of human trafficking and the urgent need to stand against it. Be there at Cedra Secondary School on Saturday, November 30th from 10 a.m. Let's unite and invest to prevent violence against women and girls.
Hi, I'm Michael Beckford, and I'm a participant at the Toronto Drug Treatment Court. You're listening to Ion Dependency with Garth and Natasha, Trinidad and Tobago. Drug Treatment Court works.
Thank you for staying with us. This is Ion Dependency, and we are having a very special program in observance of International Men's Day, which is on the 19th of November. We have 3 young men in the studio with us who are telling us about their experiences reintegrating into society after having spent time behind bars. So if you're listening to us on Facebook or YouTube, please don't forget to like the live, and thanks again if you're listening on the radio.
And coming up in studio, we have Dr. Varma Deyalsingh, Professor Noel Richards, and Richie Bansraj, all representing Office of the Prime Minister, Gender and Child Affairs Ministry. You'll be hearing from them in the next 10 minutes. Nicholas Khan, welcome. And thank you for being here, getting these guys together for us. Now, remember, these discussions are ongoing. So individually, we'll want you all back to tell the entire story, right? Because there's do you all agree that there's a school pipeline to prison?
Yeah.
Definitely, right?
Not just.
We have a prison to college pipeline.
They reverse it.
But you reverse it.
Yeah.
Right. Nicholas, can you spend 15 years in prison?
Yep.
Is that right?
Yep.
For what, boy?
For murder and a series of offenses follow behind it. Yeah.
Right. Oh. But it was committed. How did you get off of that? Because
I plead guilty.
Mm-hmm.
It happened when I was 16. I was arrested when I was 17. Yeah.
What about growing up home and thing? You had mother, father, brother, sister. How did you end up in that life?
Well, I grew up with my mom and my stepfather, and after a while, things changed within me because I was always a good child. I used to swim and thing, I used to swim, and just
competitively.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just challenges with me and my mom and my stepfather. I was trying not to go into details because I reached a stage where I'm at peace with my mom. So I gave her that respect not to really go into details. Because we live in a time of social media, I might say something and somebody want to comment and what had happened between us and, you know. But yeah, it was just a misunderstanding with me and my mom, and it just kind of triggered me emotionally, where I pack up my bags and run away from home, drop out of school at the age of 13, end up on the streets, like literally on the streets. Yeah.
So you were surviving on the streets?
Yeah, I've been surviving, still surviving.
So, but when you said one of the part of your stories, when you went to prison, you couldn't read or write.
Yeah, well, when I was on the streets, I never went back to school when I ran away. So just follow along that path. I never follow friends. I made all my choices. I blame no one, you know. And it was just circumstances. I did try to gain employment, but I was too young. And even being employed, the employer might like me, but when you get to my age, you say I'll get in trouble. You're too young, you know. And that kind of like played my mind a lot, like, and then just started to more negative, you know. So I ended up in prison at the age of 17.
For murder?
Yeah, first I was arrested for drugs, cocaine. I was on a boat coming from Venezuela and I was arrested.
Right.
Yeah, and then when I went to court, I got bail. Went back for my next court date, and they hold me for the murder. I was running for almost a year. Yeah, and then I got to escape in case I tried to escape on them. Even while in prison, I got 3 charges while in prison. Men tried to take my life in prison. I tried to take back somebody's life in prison. And I was given that charge. And that charge really saved my life too. Because I stabbed somebody in the court that stabbed me. I wake up in the hospital because when I was in prison, nobody sent me there. That was words repeated by my mom. You know, she can afford to visit me right through. Because when she could afford to come, she come. But I, on the other hand, now want to visit every week. Like other men, you know. Because it's a hard environment. It's a hard environment to navigate at that age.
Right.
Nobody ever teach me about prison in school. You had to figure it out. You know, and when they need basic things like a soup, they don't have a soup. I had to wait till month 10 till my mother come to visit me to get a soup. The officers, they ask them for a soup, they're embarrassing you. They're trying to embarrass you and belittle you. You know, so I went ask for soup, I'll take somebody thing. And I kind of developed this kind of the prison culture, you know. So that was me trying to survive until I interfere with the wrong person, you know. And when I came back from court, because the incident happened in court. Yeah, the incident happened in court, you know, and when I reached back from court, I was bathing. And 3 men run in the bathroom behind me to stab me. They stabbed me. And I run out the bathroom and wake up in the hospital. And I came back out of the hospital with a vengeance. You know, so upon getting my vengeance, the person decided to give me a case. He stabbed me and give me a case. I stabbed me and he gave me a case. I never gave you no case.
You said you stabbed somebody in court when you prisoner, Doc?
Yeah.
So you managed to get in there with a weapon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Got the culture inside, and you have to have it. I sleep with shoes on in my cell. Sleep with our shoes on. Sleep with our weapon on my waist. That was the times. Now it different. It gets soft. But that was the times. You have to sleep with your shoes on because a man can kick you up in the night. No, man. You know, I had to go through that at 18. I didn't spend long in YTC.
Oh, you went over to the big prison?
Yeah, as I turned 18, they shoot me out quick. Because I said I give trouble in YTC.
But you were released after 15 years?
Yeah.
You settled down eventually?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But I just telling them my early part.
Right.
Before the transition. Because that's what we talking about. What happened.
And what prompted the transition?
What prompted the transition?
Like I said, I started back the guy that stabbed me, I was given a case, and the magistrate was like, I'm fed up of you in my court. You always getting in trouble. And she sentenced me. So I had to move from the remand into the convicted section. So when they moved me, I still had to be under separation because I was an escapee. So I was classified. I couldn't be in population. So while under isolation, it had other men who were under isolation. So I met this guy, Martin Reed. You know that name?
Yes.
Goalies.
Yeah.
He was opposite me. 52 of them came out of death row in 2009, I mean. And he was opposite me. And I seen he as an old guy. What you doing here? Old man, what you doing here? Cause I young and I vibrant and he just watch me and smirk. I said, what you doing here, old man? He said, what you doing here? I said, murder, because that we wore that. We wore that in a form of
a rank.
Play, yeah.
Not really a play, but a form of
Respect.
yeah. And I say, what you charge for? He tell me murder. I say, murder. I say, how long here? I in jail 2 years at a time. Man tell me 17 years. And when he call a number, I'm like, how long? It's 17. I say, when you going home? He say, I doing lifetime. And the day I realized who I was. My reality happened. I went and sleep one time. Like, and I woke up, he see me, he see like all the laugh. Where you going? You disappeared, man. We started talk and we started talk about case. You know, people in prison have a tendency when they're in jail long, they become jail lawyers. So we started talk about my case and the evidence, and you know, eventually he just tied into a book and asked him what book you reading. And he tell me the book at the time. And he asked me for a book to read, pull this big box of books. I said, boy, he said, you should like carry reading. And man, don't worry yourself, man. I have a book here for you. What you don't know, I will help you. Yeah, all the time anyway. That was his exact words. And from there, he teach me, break up words, pronounce words, and I started like to read. Like reading become a cut jail, as you say. Like I just want to see the day pass. When I pick up a book, it's our next day. Every day I started reading a book until I stumbled upon a book by Tupac Shakur, A Rose That Grew From Concrete. It was a poem book. And I started finding myself writing poems, but I never told anyone. It was like me, all the things I've been through, my mom and everything, I find a way to like express it on a page. And started even write like little love poems and a certain expression that I never really expressed verbally. And my time that finished, and I went back in the remand. So within the remand, I end up in a random cell and reading my book in the night, fighting up in the dark, trying to get some light to read a book in the night. And cell phones are now really kind of started to be in the prison. And this man on a bunk by the Redu. Because I used to call me. So and the next thing I stopped that name. So the Redu turned into Neko. And Neko, because nothing is complicated in oneself. You know. And he said, come now. He said, what is this person saying there? So I think he don't know a word. But when I watch the chat, you know, his voice nuts. The man carried. And I started texting the person for me. I was actually talking to a young lady. And I communicated with the young lady with him, and we just did the whole night thing. I said, boy, you was sending a poem for sure. Him, yeah. And he sent the poem. On next day, I see my boy now come from bed. And give me my shoes there, though. I gave me shoes. I said, where you going? I'm going to visit, buddy. Kill, come and visit, man. The next day. And from there, he started advertise, boy, this man really bad at poem. And I started sell poems to men in jail. Men who want to give card to the mother, everybody, and how I started get popular with the poems.
So when you really, because we have Dr. Varma Deyalsingh sitting right here listening to you very attentively, we have Richie and of course Professor Richards here. perhaps Noel Richards to interject. But you decided you're going to turn your life around. Now you run a program at Costat. How did you manage to
several programs, not just with Costat. I work with an organization called Incarceration Nation Network. Costat is just one of our projects. We work with a program called Link Up. We also have a program with the University of the West Indies. We have our legal aid clinic that we launched yesterday. I also have a musical group called Critical Mass. These two guys part of that. And within the organization, we were recently given a fund to start this young man very own barbershop, so he could get a fully equipped barbershop by us.
Who give you the fund? Who give you the startup fund?
Try not to reveal the funders without...
It's private?
No.
Government?
Without permission.
Yeah, once I get the permission, I can reveal. I don't want to do something.
All right. But we'll have you all back and I mean,
yeah,
you
for
need
sure.
to tell your story too, individually, right? Collectively, you all here this morning just to open the door for this discussion to continue, right?
So at Costard, what we do at Costard, we recently have 20 of them recently graduate from the first cohort. So we teach them like entrepreneurship mindset and conflict communication. So they recently graduate from those certificate. This Saturday come in and we resume with the same cohort, which will go more in depth in business management, how to run a business, and they will be paid a stipend, and in the end they will be given, money. And further on, we looking to actually equip somebody with another business, so.
Dr. Varma Deyalsingh, International Men's Day. You're all sitting here very attentively listening to these gentlemen, and obviously we approaching International Men's Day, and you have been a champion for this. As a matter of fact, you came up with the idea of we should celebrate International Men's Day.
No, that's Dr. Deyalsingh.
Sorry, Dr. Deyalsingh, sorry. But I'm trying to remember Deyalsingh's first name. Jerome Deyalsingh, yes. But Dr. Varma Deyalsingh, what do you think about you here, and what is International Men's Day really? Because we keep speaking with some men here who turn their lives around.
Well, I am so proud of you, because what you have shown me there, that you have now, from an unfortunate circumstance, you're in society, and the nice thing about it, you have a sense of purpose. So it's when men don't have a sense of purpose, or boys don't have a sense of purpose, they drift, they go into certain lifestyles and they think it's appropriate. So probably that hard times you went there, learning to read, you turn something in such a way that is so beautiful. And now in prison, the rank was who were the murderer, who did this, who did that. Your rank now in society is to the young ones out there, say, look, I have done this, I've turned myself over. You guys are in music. And you see, poem and music, this is how you express your inner feelings. There's an Eminem song, Mama, I didn't mean to make you cry. So you remember, those are things that is real, where you hurt your parents, you come back, you write things, you write poetry, and you've shown that. And you have to show the youths now that when they're hurted, relationship issues, break up the banker, go to it in song, go to it in poem. And you may not need to come to me as a psychiatrist if you have that avenue and a listener. So International Men's Day, really, I don't know if you want to elaborate on that, at least,
Let me just interject a little bit. Which one? This one. This one? Yeah, thanks, bro. All right, so...
Richie, welcome.
Richie here.
Yes,
so,
welcome, my brother.
International Men's Day was, as it was designed by Dr. Deyalsingh, right? And the reason why is so that we can recognize men's issues in not just Trinidad and Tobago, but the entire globe. Men's rights. Men do have rights. We have a day. So it's not a United Nations recognized day yet, International Men's Day. We have a day for toilets. We have like about 20-something days for women. How many days do we have for men? Guess. We have zero. We have zero officially recognized. So we're trying to push the agenda now at Office of the Prime Minister, Gender Affairs Division, where we have in these series of events for to recognize the importance of International Men's Day.
Right.
To address all of the issues that Dr. Deyalsingh would have talked, you would have talked about. All of these things need to be highlighted and addressed because people push aside men's issues, men's rights as nothing. Yeah, man's supposed to go through that, blah, blah, blah. So we have in a series of events. So the first one is this one, the collaboration with UGAT.
Yes.
And then after we have in a youth forum taking place tomorrow at Nalis to highlight the importance of youth involvement, young men involvement in recognizing men's rights and men's issues. So we have that because we had to start at the young ages so they could advocate. We were talking about that earlier. So that youth could advocate for change. The older persons I don't want to stereotype, but the older persons tend to be a little more comfortable. But there are some mentors like yourself, Garth, who want change. That's why you have these young men here. And myself, Dr. Deyalsingh, Professor. Yeah. So that's Monday. Then Tuesday now, we have in the actual, you know what Tuesday is, right? Tuesday is International Men's Day.
Yes.
Tuesday the 19th of November. You did know that? You know that? Tuesday 19th, we have the International Men's Day. Well, now you know. So spread the information. Spread it. We have a day for men. We have a day for men to address men's issues, men's rights.
So if these gentlemen want to be part of that, could they be part of that?
Of course they can be part of it. Personally, these 3 young men here, I want to invite them to that event on the... You all could come at Nalis as well. Because you are youth. You are young men in the space. So you all have that, and also the one that is taking place tomorrow is Nalis.
Yes.
Taking place in Nalis. And then the one in 19 taking place in Government Campus Plaza. You can come and meet me, and I will grant you to have a seat and observe what we're going to do on that day.
No,
So
let me just interject here. And I want to tell you all, you know we skeptical people, right? But I attended the forum the OPM had.
Yeah, I was there.
And Richie was there, Doctor was there, so Professor, were you there at that forum? The government campus.
The first? I was there.
Government campus.
No, I was not there.
And you see this ministry here, I sat with the PS and Ms. Kwame Allen because I contributed at the men's forum, and I said, you know what, nothing will come out of this, I gone. A week later, I got a phone call. The PS want to see you. Because he listened, Richie listened, and they felt what I contributed warranted further discussion. And here we are today. The real.
Now we have so much things. We want to launch a men's bureau in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yep.
We want to launch a men's bureau, but when they come on Tuesday, they will see what it is about. Or they will see what it's about. I don't want to overstep and say what it is now because it's not officially launched yet. But we have it that is coming.
Yeah.
A men's bureau of Trinidad and Tobago, the first of its kind in Trinidad and Tobago.
And the PS gave me an insight what it will be.
Yeah, because usually when people think about gender, they think about women's issues, women's rights, not so, fellas? But no, gender supposed to be men, women, boys, girls. Right? So we having that now represented in the Gender Affairs Division under the Office of the Prime Minister. And we have support from men like that. Dr. Deyalsingh, Professor Richards. We have so many other men. This guy here, I'll let him talk a little bit too about what it is that he would have done with regards to his experience. So come, Professor.
Professor Noel. I'm familiar with Professor for quite a while. Are you still on radio, Professor?
Yes, I'm still on radio, like now.
Right. But
yes, I have a radio program, yes.
You're still at 98.1?
Still at 98.1, yeah.
Lovely. What time your program is?
My program is Saturday nights, 8:30 to 9:30, 1 hour.
Okay.
1 hour where we talk with men. It's called Men Talk, so it's a program for men to talk. Because we recognize that men need to talk, Women will talk all the time, every time, any place. But men, you got to create the right atmosphere and environment for a man to talk.
A barbershop.
Barbershop, yeah. That's the kind of environment that men would talk in. And even so, in environments like that, a lot of men would talk, but they wouldn't
some of the deep things that they feel, it'll take them a while. Because when I hear you talking about you do this and you do that, I want to throw in a little thing too. I may not have experienced it or done it, but I don't want everybody to be talking about something and I you know, and I didn't do anything. So you find that men make up a lot of things.
Yeah, I see that first hand in prison. First hand, that a youth man wrong way, coming wrong way every day. Guy in a little crew thing we day. No trouble, we just they talking and he will come with us. He do this and he do this and he do this. The officer comes back and we lock up for us. See, driving on the bus shoot without a license and insurance, take up your uncle car. So I wait for him, Call me day thing, real bad man thing and thing. I say everything. When they graduate, come back around here. See we here. See that Mr. Mina. And I was wrong too, because them thing is kinda make a man go and actually do something.
Manipulate.
Make a man actually go and do something and prove himself
Yeah, right, yeah.
You know? So.
Gaslighting.
Yes.
Yeah.
But before we come back to Dr. Varma, your role and in support of the OPM now, what will you be doing and how will relevant is your contribution to this?
Well, this is my first really connection with them, and I've been an advocate for men my program is since 2006.
Right.
So I should tell you.
I was on that program, I was a guest.
You have been on my program.
Yes.
You are a guest on that program already. So it's and what I do is try to connect, be the connectors. So like the OPM now, I'm connecting with them. Hopefully people on my program, I'd be able to make that connection with them, because people come on my program and they look for solutions. We can't offer all the solutions, but I could point it to somebody, point it to Doc here as a psychiatrist who would help you. So that's my role in it, to make that kind of connection for gentlemen like these, as well. So whatever I can do or whatever we can do, we want to do it, because we don't have all the answers, but we want to point people to the people who can help them, who have the answers.
There were some jobs for some men.
even so,
no,
even that.
Jobs for some
even
men.
that.
Apart from which, we speak about mental health issues too affecting men, Dr. Varma, but these gentlemen left something on the table here this morning about getting their records clean. That is still a challenge in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah.
And that is something can affect you and leave a sort of ceiling over your head.
It's a label.
Yeah. So you all are still shackled into the system by not cutting out that and getting a clean break.
But no, let me just say this.
Yeah.
Let me just say this. I was talking to a gentleman who was incarcerated for a number of years too, and he came out and he went looking for a job, and he was going to get the job, and then one of the officers from the prison's officers happened to be there and saw him. Told the boss, hey, you know who that man is, boy? You know where he come from? You know where and because of that he didn't get the job. And he, one of the things that we need education. We need people who care about people like these gentlemen. So even when they come out, they don't have that stigma. The stigma will always be there. But we need people on the outside to advocate for them, to help them. Because you can't be, because you were the officer in the prison, the man is outside now. You go and tell the boss, you know who that man is, but you want that man in your place. That is the kind of thing that we have to get away from.
Yeah, we need to change that.
Yeah, we need to change it.
Because again, go ahead, Sid, quickly.
No, I'm just saying, like we desensitize people to murder and killing and thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's really normal to see a dead body now. So why it's not normal to see a prisoner and treat them normally?
Mm-hmm.
Like how we could brandish murder, kill, drugs in your face until you become normal with it. Why we can't normalize goodness with people who probably, maybe they're in reach in prison, probably the furthest they reach is just in the station. You know what I mean? That and all this come with a stigma. You know what I mean? That if it's like an advertisement. You want somebody to buy coffee, you go keep on putting a coffee advertisement. You want somebody to treat people a certain type of way, then we have to make that type of way cool. You know what I mean? We have to create a new cool and a new norm.
Yes, well said.
Not just between a group, but between it's a nation we dealing with and a twin island nation too. You know?
Dr. Varma, what are some of the issues affecting men locally and internationally?
Well, what we found is that, since 1970s to 80s, the females had their rights, put forward, their rights to get jobs, better pay, etc. What we found is that they came into that space, and it may have left a vacuum where some men now would have felt, they were now denied jobs. Now, remember, they have cricket for females, etc., football for females. So some men, and I know there are females here, so I hope I don't get any
leave them on the conversation this morning. Men talking here now.
So we found that yes, the females needed that attention. Yeah, the females needed that attention. They needed that help to reach where they are. But what it did now, what we noticed now was happening, that men were dying more. So for violent crimes, men are dying more. They're getting shot more. They're part of, given the violence, part of being murdered, etc. Men were actually killing themselves more. So when we noticed that, we realized somehow that the male seems to be endangered. Because not only are you getting shot at more, killed more, but you are now harming yourselves more. Plus, the normal life expectancy, females tend to live till 80 and males tend to live 73. So we are now realizing what's going on. To be a male in this, in this world now, it's a disadvantage. So this is why we have to now try to say what are the problems. And for the problems with the life expectancy, so all over the world, women live more. I always make a joke, probably the wives naga so much, we just want to fold up and die, right? But the fact is, people ask why. Because males now, they are in jobs that, you can get damage easier. You are in construction, etc. Males also may be more risk takers. So they drive faster, they get in accidents more. Males don't take care of themselves. So a female will rather go to clinic, seek help. Males now will just, they really want to go to see a doctor. So, and this is it. So this is one of the reasons where you find that is happening. And in the male population, prostate cancer is a problem, lung cancer is a problem, liver disease too, because of the smoking, the drinking, etc. Diet too, because we have now a generational problem where you have young kids now growing up with obesity, which will put more hypertension, more diabetes. So for males to take care of themselves, we have to reach out more to the males. And the Ministry of Health has been doing a good thing. They have something where you call, a move TT, where you have to now start a move. So let's say we get the males to get the idea, look, we have to go for checkups. We have to do prostate tests. We have to check pressure. We have to check sugar, right? Because we are stressed out. And by being stressed out, we tend to produce more adrenaline, more cortisol. And because of that, we now will have more symptoms also.
That's stress
Good.
hormones.
Stress hormones. Now, females, now people ask me, are males and female equal? I say no. So don't look at me hard, because we have different hormones. You all have more oxytocin than me. So that nature, that caring, you now will be able to balance. Even though you are CEO in a company, you have more of that chemical, you'll be able to taper less than a man. Also, so we have to realize now we are different. But men now need to now seek help for that. Mentally now. What we found in Trinidad, every year for the last 8 years, we have about 120 suicides, and 83% of them are males. So men are killing themselves more. More women may attempt it, but more men die by suicide. And this is higher than the global figures. Global figures is 2-1. Now we are 83%, so it's like every 5 suicides, 5-1. So that is why we now have to tell men, come for help in our clinics. Come to talk. Don't just go in the, go in the barbershop to vent. That is good. Some men go to drink, they go to alcohol, they go to drink. Sometimes if you go in a bar and you all talk and you vent, you may get it out your chest. But we need men to realize it's okay to cry. Because this is where it's okay to get to that level. Because men has been mentally programmed, culturally programmed to be a macho. They don't go to cry. And this is where we now have to tell men, if you have your feelings, you're human first. It's okay to reach out, it's okay to get help. So part of our thing is saying, listen, man, you could succumb easier. And when we look at the figures in Trinidad, we found that about the suicide rates, if you look at beyond 6 years, it's about 19%, and between 30 and 39, it's about 20%. So we have to start targeting those areas. The lonely male out there, feeling that I'm now muscle mass gone, I'm not good looking as before, no, I turn invisible when I go there, nobody looking at me, I'm all alone, financial problems. If a male has prostate problems and eye problems and they are losing their independence, they may think, let me just end it. So we have that problem to reach out to those individuals out there, 60. That's where social development, district nurses have to go there. The 38 to 39, we have to teach them how to maneuver life. Relationship breakup, family issues, job loss, and this is the next challenge we would have.
Now, just before, I'll go back to Richie a minute, please. You could just raise the mic and you can sit down, Richie could speak up. Now, what resources or services are available for men? For people like us in Trinidad and Tobago?
Right, so the Ministry of Health, as Dr. Varma Deyalsingh was talking about, there is suicide prevention. I have it all right down here, but one of the things is, I have all of these contact numbers and all of these things here, but the Men's Bureau is going to act as a resource portal, a resource portal that is that has everything that men want to get, what they need. They can reach out to that portal. But also, I want to encourage, and I can mention a few of them of the contacts that I have written down here. So it has the National Suicide Prevention Hotline, which is 800-COOP. 800-COOP. We also have the National Domestic Violence Hotline, which is Gender Affairs Division 1. That one is 800-SAVE. Now, that is not for women alone. Men, women, boys, girls could call that, right? And one statistic that I read recently was from Childline, right? They address with children's issue, and children call that number. That's 800-4321. Their statistic was 1 out of 20 persons that call was, guess what? Male. 1 out of 20 boys. 1 out of 20, one boy out of 20 persons. The rest is 19 is girls. That statistic is, we need to encourage men and boys to want to reach out for help. So that's why I always encourage men to create a safe space. Same thing that this young man doing here. Create a safe space for men to address their issues. It don't have to be anything too serious, like too rigid, like a whole organization or something like that. It could be something as simple as, well, we have the Men's Bureau. That is a formalized thing that, yes, we will refer you to safe spaces for men. But also at youth. Let me say, for example, youth. Video gaming. They have their groups. They video game, they play Call of Duty, they play football, FIFA and thing together with themselves. They have a communication, they always talk to each other. I tell them to use that as a safe space where you can address your issues that you're going through. I did it with my friends when I was going through my breakups and everything too. I did it, and that helped me because my friends were a safe space. But find fellas that you trust. Because I say this because some men will try to, it's a power dynamic. Men, we know that we always strive for power in not just men, women. Power is the thing that people want the most. That is what leads to gender-based violence. That's what leads to violence and wars in country. Want for power, the need for power, the craving for power. So create a safe space. Have your friends that you trust to talk about all of these social issues. And as I said again, look out for the Men's Bureau. We will have a portal there for all of the resources that you could reach out to. There.
If you're just joining us, you're listening to Dependency, and we've been speaking. We're having a nice conversation this morning on men issues. We have Oba Roberts, who did 5 years in prison, Sydney Friday, 4 years, and Nicholas Khan, 15 years. What they're doing now is a totally different thing. They've turned their lives around. And we have, of course, in studio with us, officials from representing the Office of the Prime Minister, Gender and Child Affairs. We have Dr. Varma Deyalsingh, Professor Noel Richards, and Richie Bansraj. Pronounce that right?
Yeah.
Good. Gentlemen, these gentlemen here came here, they poured their hearts out this morning, and is a discussion I know that you like to continue. But Natasha, you have anything to add to this as a woman listening to this as women?
Really a question. I heard Richie mention men's rights. Could you explain exactly what rights men are not afforded in this society? I just...
So we generally say, right? That's a good question.
That's
Very
a trick
good question
too, eh?
That's a trick question.
No,
So I have to think, right?
I genuinely want to know.
I think it, right?
I have to think to answer this question.
No, well, men have rights too in a general sense. Men and women supposed to have equal rights.
Correct.
Right? But at the same time, there is something called equity. So therefore, in a sense, men, we need to find out what the needs of men are in society. Then we need to find out what the needs of women are in society. Same thing with boys and girls. And you realize, when you do the research, you realize that, okay, they have different needs that they need to be addressed. So therefore, there's something called gender responsive budgeting that I would like to purport for, where, for example, in the healthcare sector as well, you will have a lot of women going out to reach out for reproductive health care. Reproductive health care is what they should focus the budgeting for in that particular thing. So that is women's rights in terms of their reproductive health care. Now, what about men? What do you think about men? What do you think men might need?
In terms of reproductive health, right?
No, in terms of general health.
Just general health.
Dr. Deyalsingh would have...
He mentioned a couple of areas, in terms of
Okay,
physical health and lifestyle diseases.
I want to hit it, right? So when you analyze it, mental health of men. So when you realize, yes, men do have their like prostate issues and all these kind of things too, but mental health, as he was addressing, the percentages is way too high. So when you realize he needs assessment for it, men killing themselves. So in the Ministry of Health now, they will have to devote more resources in their budget to men's mental health.
Well, Natasha, could we go to the video A, Hinkson?
Yeah.
Support for male victims, and this is the offer. This is the minister.
It's a news item from TTT about support for male victims of domestic violence, and in fact, we had a male victim of domestic violence on our program a couple of weeks ago. So this is kind of timely as well.
Yes. So let's go to that video. Here is the minister of Gender and Child Affairs.
Yes.
Ayanna Webster Roy.
There is anecdotal evidence to suggest that domestic violence against men is more prevalent than is believed. This from Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister, Gender and Child Affairs, Ayanna Webster Roy, speaking on part 1 of the Delving Deeper segment on Sunday evening. Noel Lala has the report.
But the feedback that came to my constituency office indicated that it is a real problem, because men were indicated we need a safe space, some place where we could come and ventilate the issues, because we are being victims.
Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister, Gender and Child Affairs, Ayanna Webster Roy, said although it's more common to hear about domestic violence affecting women, men are also on the receiving end.
They tend to be shunned. Most men would not report, so we will not have a true picture of what is happening. But anecdotal evidence would suggest that it is quite prevalent in Trinidad and Tobago.
She said her ministry is working towards the establishment of a shelter for men locally, whether they be a victim or perpetrator.
In addressing issues around domestic violence, you can't just look at the persons who are the core victims, but you also have to put systems in place to address those who may be the perpetrators. And admittedly, the statistics would show that women are predominantly the victims. And in establishing our men's view, we are helping our men in Trinidad and Tobago to address all issues affecting them and helping to change mindset.
Attorney General Reginald Amo said it is time citizens of Trinidad and Tobago change their mindset to ensure this issue of domestic violence is given the appropriate measure, challenging the police to ensure enough is done for victims, whether it be men or women.
But one of the things that I don't think that the police are sufficiently alert to is that in addition to the protection order, assault is a crime. If somebody hits another person, that is a crime. And therefore, I think that the police should be more responsive where reports are made to them of domestic violence.
And Director of the Criminal Justice Unit, Farzana Nazir Mohammed, also urged police to ensure everything is done when a report of domestic violence is received.
I think it's very important also that in the training, police officers understand that when they go on the scene, it is to collect evidence for a prosecution of a crime. And if that is the mindset that is adopted from the start, then you would see that the police is coming to the scene, ensuring that they take a statement, capture video evidence, take photographs, speak to neighbors. And
the discussion comes ahead of the public consultation on domestic violence taking place at the Hyatt Regency Hotel on Wednesday. Sonolala, TTT News.
Richie?
Yeah. Well, I want to big up the minister one time, you know. I want to big up one time because she talked about men, right? And you all know what's that emotional abuse? Emotional abuse, mental abuse. So there are 4 main types of abuse, right? Physical, sexual, emotional, and what's the last one? Financial, right? So, but emotional abuse tends to happen with men because women are more verbal. Women are more verbal in how they address their power dynamic, right? They know what buttons to push, right? And in that sense, men in a conventional society that we in right now, how do we respond?
Go and do crime.
Man do cry.
No,
Man do
crime.
talk.
No, go and do crime.
Go and do crime or what? Physical abuse.
Yeah.
That's correct.
React in a physical move once. Not all men like that. Yeah. But that's the thing. So men will resort to that form of abuse, right? And therefore, when the police comes, yes, they have evidence. They have the physical evidence to show that this woman has been beaten, she get choked, she get slapped. But where's the evidence of the emotional abuse that the man was facing? This is just one scenario. We're not saying this is the case for everybody, right? But that form of abuse, and the thing is, men are afraid to report. Men are afraid to report because they're afraid that the police or whoever is in the authority laugh at them. And if the reality is, yes, we train in police officers and all these things, but it is still happening because culture is one of the hardest things to change. Culture. And Trinidad and Tobago's culture is that if you're a man, you're a man. You take it, what it is? Take it like a man.
Gentlemen, you all,
Can I ask that question?
Sure.
Yes.
So this issue with the men that you all highlighted right now, yeah?